Good afternoon and good evening, and welcome to Movie Watch Live. And tonight we'll be watching, paying a tribute to one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Bond girls ever, the incredible and unforgettable Honor Blackman, who sadly passed away just over a week ago. So to celebrate her amazing life and talent, we'll be watching Goldfinger. That's the iconic Bond movie most people think about when you mention Bond to anyone. And that was filmed in 1964, released in 1964. And it is a bit of a first in many ways, this movie. It's the first to introduce a lot of different things. And also a first tonight is that we welcome as guest tonight Elrodimus Flash. We're going to call him Elrod tonight. So I'll introduce both of my guests. We both have Ralph and Elrod. Good evening, Ralph. How are you tonight?
Hello. Hello there, Bubba Bond. Very nice to meet you. Name's Ralph. They call me Ralph. Yes.
Got a shite for sure, right?
Yes. Got a suck on a sarsaparilla.
And also, as I've just mentioned, we have Elrodimus Flash, and he is quite an accomplished comic artist, and I've been following his work for quite some time. Good evening, Elrod.
Good evening, and remember those S's are shushes.
Yes.
Sarsaparilla.
Shush.
Pussy galore.
Oh yes, push it. Oh yes, push it. If you spot that man, Trebek,
Shy. Pussy.
galore.
And so, Elrod, you mentioned before the show that you're a big Bond fan. Is this your most favorite Bond movie, or is it? What does it mean? What does Goldfinger mean to you?
Gold. It is the most iconic. It's the one, like you said, it set up all the tropes and all the things we know about Bond. Probably my favorite, oddly enough, is Living Daylights.
Yeah.
I think because that's the first one I saw complete, maybe in the theater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of people like that one, and I think it's down to when you first see a Bond movie as well, because it's different for everybody. Timothy Dalton wasn't the most popular Bond overall, but to a certain group of people, he is the most popular Bond. So,
isn't it like Doctor Who, where it's like the first one is like your doctor kind of thing?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, it is. Whoever you've grown up with, definitely. And
so I always had a soft spot for Roger Moore as well.
Yeah, well, I grew up with Roger Moore. He was my Bond when I grew up, and I think the first Bond movie. They're all repeated on TV, but it was like Man with a Golden Gun and
Moonraker,
Live and Let Die. Moonraker with Jaws. Yeah, all that stuff. But I got into Sean Connery later. And his Bond is just the quintessential Bond, really.
It is.
So
it's the Ian Fleming comic strip James Bond.
Yeah.
The pulp hero.
Yeah.
Well,
he sets it all up. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
Oh no, I was just going to say, and I think we're from a similar age group, and you were bringing up Timothy Dalton and all the different Bonds. It's kind of backtracking now, but I remember the backlash because so many people wanted Pierce Brosnan to be the Bond successor, and Timothy Dalton got it because Pierce Brosnan couldn't get out of his Remington Steele contract, and then he later became Bond. So it's just interesting the character.
Well, the same thing happened with Dalton, because Dalton was chosen sometime in the 70s. They were going to have him replace Moore, and he turned it down because he was too young. Because I guess he was really into the books, and he's like, "No, Bond is 42, and I'm not that old yet, so I'm not going to do it."
George Lazenby. There you go. Philip Blair brings up George George was the one and out Bond, if I remember right.
Yep.
Such a storied franchise and character.
He's a good one too.
Do you know what it is? There's actually more intrigue about the legal issues and legal dealings behind all of the Bond movies and the trademarks and the copyrights than the actual espionage on the screen.
That's the danger of making so much money. Success brings
this is it. Cubby Broccoli was ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. So some fascinating stuff there. So hello, Sadie Bella. Yeah. She's arrived as well. Obviously, Philip Blair, good to see you there. And Cosmetti there in the chat as well. So we're getting people coming in now. So I think we're going to make a start.
Hold on. Can I set something up for the chat?
You can. Go ahead.
There we go.
Oh my gosh!
Gotta get ready.
It's not shaking, not stirred at all. It's just on the rocks.
No, it's just. Oh no! I'm drinking it neat and.
Very nice.
Just getting it out so it can breathe a bit, so we can get ready.
Yes. Oh, very good. Well, I don't have a Don Perignon, but I've got a wheat beer, which is chilled and ready to go.
Oh, nice!
It goes down smooth.
I had one of those Shiner box you make fun of. So.
Oh yes, they're all right. I mean, they're okay. But I'm a beer snob, so there you go. Yeah. Right. So, what we'll do? Oh, hello, Apollo Patriot, who says, "Hail Greek mythology." Indeed, that is a whole other thing full of incredible stories. But let's watch Bond. And as I said earlier, this is in honor of Honor Blackman, who, interestingly, was 5 years older than Sean Connery when she did this movie. And I've got to say,
Jason and the Argonaut.
Oh yeah, she was, wasn't she? She was the goddess Hera in Jason and the Argonauts, and I think she was she 39? I can't remember for this movie, but she was at least 5 years older than Sean, and goodness me, she looked really good for that age. And I think all through she was 38. Sean Connery was 33. Oh. Yeah, she was a fantastic looking lady through our life, and
she did a comedy thing with Steve Coogan, I think, where it was like a takeoff on the Hammer horror movies.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was like the 90s or 2000s, and so she had to be like 70 something.
Yeah, she looked phenomenal.
She looked like she was maybe 39 then.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, and she came to this role because she'd been in the Avengers previously. Yeah. When I say Avengers, I don't mean Marvel Avengers. I mean the TV show from Britain, which was, if you haven't seen it before, it's a great bit of 60s TV cult fiction, and she was the secret agent in that, and that's why they picked her. They were determined to get her for this role. So what we do as normal is, yes, Philip Blair, I do expect Daniel Craig will one day do that. But so what we do as normal is everybody has their own copy, and we all synchronize starting to play the movie. What I'd normally do is I'll do a quick countdown of 3, 2, 1, and then I'll say go. And when I say go, everybody presses play at the same time, so that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, so to speak. And then we can see what's going on at the same time. So the show format is we'll all comment on what's happening on the screen, and we'll talk about interesting facts about it and analyze the movie, but not in that much depth. We're here to have fun, and if there's anything interesting that comes up, certainly we'll talk about that. So without further ado, we'll get ready with our copy. So if everybody's ready with their copy now, and I'll give the countdown and we'll start the ball rolling. So we'll try not to boomer things up as I normally do. So ready, the countdown begins at 3, 2, 1, go. And already I've boomered things up because it didn't start for me.
So
that's okay.
Do we need a mulligan then?
No, I'm fine. I'm going to just keep going through here. So I've gone to the bit where we've got the opening credit sequence. Now, this sequence with James Bond as appearing through the sort of eye of the rifle. It's the borer of rifle or a gun that you're looking through. That was the first one to feature the actor as the man in the sights of the gun, and that footage was taken from Dr. No. So that's Sean Connery's Dr. No. So the first opening sequence were supposed to be in the Caribbean here, and this is this a seagull we're seeing on the coming along there?
Yep.
The water here.
Oh, nice.
It's a seagull hat. Everybody needs a seagull hat, in my experience. I'm at 1 minute 5 seconds. Is that what everybody else is, or am I a little bit fast or behind? Or
I'm 121.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of technical difficulty. 1 second. Y'all keep going. I'll catch up.
Yeah, no worries. We'll let you know at the timestamp when you're ready. I think I'm now at 1 minute and 34.
That's me.
So, yeah. And
perfect.
Bond's obviously knocked the guard out and got into the secret entrance of what we thought would have been a fuel tower, but it's actually a secret base.
Perfect. Okay, I'm right there with you.
Yep, so we're now at 1 minute 55. And he's just spreading the what looks like cream cheese. It's Philadelphia cream cheese.
Cinnabon icing.
Oh yes. Where's my crisp bread? That spread lovely with a bit of cucumber on the top.
Where cream icing is for wimps.
Sadie Bella says, if I ever see a seagull hat, I'm buying it and sending it across the pond.
Oh man, we need some TikTok videos of you swimming with that.
Yes, it's in the scope.
Here's his best gadget ever.
That is the best move ever.
Jacket.
Yep. So this he takes some sort of an underneath a wonderful tuxedo, typical Bond, and a red carnation. And there's the sexy lady and the club dancing with that. And now Bond has the alibi.
Yes. Now, oddly enough, I do the exact same thing every day when I leave work, only I'm ripping off my sweatpants and stuff to get to my tuxedo underneath.
Now, here's the best quote, one of the best quotes in the whole movie. Right? At least they won't be using heroin-flavored bananas to financial revolutions. Heroin-flavored bananas. That's the kind of line you'll only ever find in Bond. Sure, yes, unfinished business. Now, this is Bonita, played by Nadia Regin. Bonita. I think Sean would have had a bonita when he held it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know the answer to that question, Philip, but we can find out for you. I like that line there where she asks him about his gun. And he says, I have a slight inferiority complex. And again, this is typical Bond. He sees him coming up behind him in her eye. And then it's just, there we go. So she gets knocked out. That's nice. Always the gent.
Well,
she's evil.
A gentleman makes sure that his lady is taken care of.
Yeah, I don't know what grabbing the leg does here. And into the bath, goes for the gun. Wait for the line. The line's coming. Fan goes into the bath. Ready for the line. There we go. Shocking. Positively shocking. So I'm at...
the second one is translated bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, and this opening sequence is pretty famous. It's it was unique. I don't think anybody tried anything like this beforehand. It was the producers were inspired by, when people leave the movie theater at the end of the movie, and when you get up, the movie is on your body, the projector.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they were inspired by that, and they wanted to get that happening. So you can see how people are superimposed. So you've got Oddjob superimposed on her body there. And yes, it is Oddjob, the original, not Random Task. There's some pretty weird facts about, about the guy who played Oddjob and the guy who played Goldfinger. By the way, this was the first movie that Pierce Brosnan saw in the theater, who would one day become Bond. This was the thing that inspired him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. So there you go. Yes, she is a bonny lass, Philip. In the books, he's usually half drunk all the time. That's correct. Yeah, he wasn't a very nice person, really, the character. So Honor Blackman's the oldest ever actress to play Bond's love interest. She was 39 years old at the time of the filming. Nearest to her is Maud Adams, who was 38 when they filmed Octopussy with Roger Moore. A few years ago, it surfaced that the record would be broken by 51-year-old Monica Bellucci, Inspector. Monica Bellucci, who's still a very nice-looking lady at this in her 50s. Who's also famous for other movies like The Matrix Reloaded.
Now, I haven't caught any of the new ones since Casino Royale. I think I caught part of Spyfall. Is Bond actually allowed to woo women anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for him. Let's hear it for some knuckle dragging.
He might be a little more violent, but yeah.
Okay.
He's upped his fighting game. But yeah, he's still like a woman. Well, now they have this formula where every movie he falls in love, he retires, and then he comes out of retirement.
Oh, well, yeah.
Every Daniel Craig movie, that's what happened.
Yeah. Now I'm going to shatter your dreams here, because although this sequence was filmed in Miami, this is 1964 Miami, folks. And it looks absolutely gorgeous, doesn't it? Look how clean it looks. This is Miami in the heyday, This is when there was the big timers going around. But the Sean Connery did not go to the States for this filming of this movie. So every time you see Sean Connery in this movie, it's supposed to be in America, in Kentucky, and places like that.
So that's why he does the blue screen swimming pool scene.
Yep, exactly. There's loads of blue screen because every outdoor scene with Sean Connery in it was filmed in Pinewood, just outside Pinewood.
Oh, okay, yeah, Pinewood Studios. Okay.
Yep. So this is all in the States, but this is because I don't know why he wouldn't go to America. There was a reason, I think, but maybe he's just lazy.
Yeah, I think he had a filming conflict. I don't recall what he was filming at the time, but I believe that was it.
Yeah. Now, is this the original Felix Leiter?
Oh yeah,
by Sec Linda. Yeah. And he's got a nice little lady friend there, played by Margaret Nolan. Nolan playing Dink. She's just called Dink, so he's basically just patted her bottom, and that's why she's called Dink. As you can see, it's a very progressive movie.
Now, a little known fact: I have modeled my chest wig off Sean Connery's chest. So
it's interesting you mention wigs, actually. In case you didn't know, when this film was being made, Sean Connery was already losing his hair.
You don't say.
She's going about thin on the top.
Back.
So they started applying not a full toupee, but a partial toupee at this point.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, the guy that came down the Goldfinger's first appearance looks a lot like me in Miami.
Well, interesting thing about him. There's some pretty weird facts about this. Is Gert Fröber, right? And I'm going to shatter your dreams again. Gert Fröber doesn't actually say anything in the movie. If you look at his mouth, he was told to speak German and quickly so they could dub his voice.
Oh,
his entire dialogue is voiced by somebody else.
Oh man!
So
that would have to be amazing ADR.
So, and there's some other facts about Gert that are pretty weird as well, but we might talk about them later. But yeah, because he couldn't really speak English, couldn't really speak a word of English. But they picked him because they were originally going to go for Orson Welles for the role, but Orson demanded too much money. And then when this guy came along, oh, hang on, what's going on here? So one day,
that happens all the time in hotels I stay at.
Yeah. And but apparently the guy who played Goldfinger, Gert, then started claiming more money, and the producers were thinking, why didn't we just hire Orson Welles to begin with?
Yes, exactly. Would have to ADR everything and get that name recognition.
So this is Shirley Eaton playing Jill Masterson. And,
not dubbed, by the way. Not dubbed.
Yeah, not dubbed. Shirley Eaton was 18 years younger than Honor Blackman, and that's the biggest age difference in Bond girls in any Bond movie. So Honor Blackman was 39, she was 21. So Bond's playing all the angles there. Because what he says, Terry clothes onesie, lol. Yep, same composer as Dances with Wolves film score. Yeah, Barry.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, John Barry. I've got a couple of CDs. He did so many different soundtracks.
Yeah.
And he's got his own completely particular style, which it's similar to the guy who did the soundtracks for Hitchcock. I think it was called Herman.
Mm-hmm.
And yes. Start losing, Goldfinger. Pull your finger out, Goldfinger.
Right. He's got a royal flush, even though you're not playing poker.
Yes. Now,
and I'll have you know, those are the only binoculars that work in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because just like Star Wars, when people look through binoculars, everything is further away.
Yeah, so it's actually, they're doing what they should do. I
Yeah,
thought you were talking about the other binoculars.
Elrod,
I thought you were talking about the other binoculars there at that point.
Those as well.
I could testify that it appears those other binoculars work as well. So, yeah. So I think is Shirley Eaton still alive? I'm not sure, but
she is. There was the myth that she died because of the gold paint, but she's alive.
Yeah.
She's like 85 or 83.
Wow, amazing.
So we should run through a list of the various myths that came out because of the movies and television.
I mean, to this day, people will still tell you, as a matter of fact, that the girl on the poster died from that gold paint. It poisoned her. Or she suffocated, and it's like that's actually a line in the movie that you could suffocate from gold paint.
Yeah, and you can't suffocate from being painted all over either. That's
right.
is not a fact.
In the Bond verse, you can.
In the Bond verse, you can, but
Dancing
that's because
Girl died that way.
Yeah, that's because there's lots of stuff in the Bond verse which doesn't make any scientific sense.
Oh yeah, you know. It's kind of like when I'm brewing homebrew in the bathtub with my Bodor and sour mash. Oh wait, yeah. I mean, not doing that.
Yeah. Well, Shirley Eaton was the 1950-60 sex bomb. She was called the Cockney Blonde Bombshell. But yeah, she was.
So what you're saying is she was very much dubbed as well.
She was indeed.
I mean, Cockney accent.
I think what you were saying. Listen to this line here. This is Dom Perignon 53 above the temperature of 30 years. Or listening to the Beatles with earmuffs. Here we go. Who's this? This is not Random Task. Bang! This is the original and best Odd Job. Would you say he's with the top hat?
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
He only kills one person with that top hat, you know.
And the statue.
Yeah. The hat actually got sold at auction for £62,000. It's about $100,000. 20 years ago. That's a lot of money for a hat.
Oh, yes.
You see, now he's recovered from being knocked out, and the lovely Jill Masterson has disappeared and reappeared as a gold statue. Now,
conveniently covered by the chair.
Yeah, conveniently covered the bottom cleavage by the thingy of the chair. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this skin suffocation thing is just not true. Mythbusters was a program in Britain that just busted open and said, nope, doesn't work.
Allergic reaction can happen, but that's about it from the metal.
Yeah.
That's why Buddy Ebsen had to drop out of The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
He was the original Tin Man, and he basically almost died on the set. And they're like, all right, hire a new guy who's not allergic to the paint.
Wow.
Bill Bixby had the same problem in The Incredible Hulk, but he soldiered on. That's why
the latex type paint.
Yeah. That's why Incredible Hulk, every time that he had to go through the transformation, that's why every week it was the exact same transformation.
So he wouldn't overdose on Benadryl every day they come.
This was the 70s. It was like rub some dirt in it.
Get over it, Bill. Just take a Benadryl.
Put on some short shorts and go sun yourself for 8 hours. A good sunburn will take care of that.
This is Bernard Lee, who plays M. Now, we're saying before the show, this movie is a lot of firsts. It's the first time you see a lot of things starting to gel in the Bond verse, and the relationship between Bond and M really solidifies in this movie. It's the first time you see the Aston Martin as well, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The Aston Martin surfaces for the first time. Which today they're worth millions and millions, aren't they? You just can't. No, none of us mere mortals will ever hope to own an original Aston Martin DB5.
Oh no!
I hope to. I just never will.
Yeah, sorry. We can hope. We can still hope.
I believe Hot Wheels makes a version that I can afford.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my 1976 Ford Pinto.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a Ford Mustang in this movie as well, isn't there?
Yeah, that's another Bond verse myth that the Aston Martin outruns a Mustang.
Mm-hmm. Philip Blair gets a rim shot.
My lady.
And of course, this is Moneypenny, who in Britain is called Funny Funny. Hello, Miss Funny Funny. Yeah, she's also a shite for short age. Now, she's the lady that Bond loves, like his work wife, you know. And he likes her that much. He would never ever try anything on her. Or did he? And we just don't know.
Yeah, well, she's a walking HR violation, though, even for the 60s. It's like, hey.
This is where we start finding out about the plan. Now, in the original book, Goldfinger tries to just steal everything from Fort Knox. And somebody pointed out to him, like Bond even says it was written into the dialogue of the movie, that it's impossible to carry that amount of weight of gold out in one raid. It would be a huge job. So the writers of the film changed it to a different idea, which I won't say just yet, because if anybody hasn't seen this for the first time, it'll spoil it for them. I need to be sitting at this table. This is cognac and cigars. This is my way of life. Why wasn't I enlisted in MI5? I could enjoy a nice brandy and cigars with the minister.
That's the thing. It's all regal. It's all high class. It's all what we wish we could be.
It's the remnants of the British Empire. Richard Vernon, who's playing Smithers, is sporting the 11 remnants of hair on his head. The
skunk stripes.
I won't let go. Damn it, I will not let go.
I still have my number 11. I'm still a young man. Don't tell me I'm going bored. I have my 11s.
Losing my hair? Poppycock.
Glorious,
this is the same hairline I had when I was 10 years old. The hair of a school lad.
Oh, I tell you.
It was a botched hair transplant that, well, I was moving my eyebrows, and that was all they had to harvest hair from.
And look
I'm not good at penciling on eyebrows. I went a little high.
look at Sean Connery's perfect hair there, all greased. But we know that
hair that they bought from a Thailand woman.
Yes. Now, he doesn't wear a whole hairpiece at this point, but it's partial.
Oh, he had one in every movie. Even in Dr. No, he had a hairpiece, right?
Yeah. He started going bald at 21.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Q. And we all love Q. And this is really where Q found his own as well, because he was a bit awkward in Dr. No. But this is... and, of course, Q, the guy who played him, Desmond Llewellyn, had absolutely no technical ability whatsoever. He said he just was given the lines and he just delivered them as confidently as possible. He didn't have a clue what he was talking about. I'm having car orgasms now. You'll be using this incredibly glorious car. Yeah.
It's other than like the Jaguar E-Type, it's like the most beautiful car ever.
Absolutely. Now,
neither one could run, but they were both beautiful.
Now you know all the equipment. Oh, without a doubt, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, I'll put it in the same category as the Spitfire. You've got the Spitfire, the Aston Martin, and for the older gentlemen, the Rolls Royce. But apparently Aston Martin developed all the gadgetry in the car. So you know all the stuff you can see that moves around and does stuff. It's all real.
They didn't have CGI back then. They had to do
practical. Yeah, exactly.
Like the 66 Batmobile, everything worked on that too.
Because Matty says, I miss when men could smoke cigars in a film.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And you don't see that nowadays, because Matty. And Phil says, I've seen it a few times. But all the stuff's working. The only thing that isn't real is the ejector seat. But apparently there was a real radio television and a thermos with a built-in hand grenade. So there you go. There we are.
You know how many guys would have put their mother-in-law in that ejector seat if it was an available option?
They'd be lining up, wouldn't they?
Our most popular option.
You're joking with our objector seat. Don't talk nonsense.
You idiot.
Yeah, stupid fool. Yeah,
You're the man now, dog.
Yes. Here's the German. Now, Mr. Goldfinger, played by Gert Fröbe. An amazing dub job. You can't even tell, can you?
No.
It's being dubbed.
I wonder if he was doing like terrible English and they just dubbed over with, you know.
Oh, he couldn't speak a word. He couldn't speak a word of English. He couldn't speak a word. The whole thing's voiced by somebody called Michael Collins. Right? And there's some interesting facts about him, actually. He was actually doubled in this scene where he plays golf. He couldn't get the hang of the game, so he couldn't speak English. He couldn't even play golf. Why did they bother hiring this guy? So that's him there. But when you actually see the shots of him taking a decent shot that actually works, it's somebody else. Can we get a Gert's golf double in, please? Golf double.
Well, he has the look.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Kind of creepy, kind of pedophile-y.
Yeah. You've got it there, like.
And he's fat, so he looks like a glutton that would want gold. Oh, the gold.
Yeah. Apparently, when he accepted the role as Goldfinger, he was asked by the producers if he had any private interests, and he said he loved soccer. Football, if you're English. As a result, Rolls-Royce arrived on the set every Saturday at his every Saturday's London hotel, and took him to the games to watch every weekend. So, but yeah, here's a weird one for you. Okay, this is going to be a bit. It's going to be a bit tumbleweed moment here. Gert Fröbe, right? He had serious reservations about being Goldfinger and using gas later on in the movie because he felt with him being German and it would have certain connotations, and indeed the movie was banned. It was banned in Israel for many years.
I was gonna say was he a defector?
Well, let's just say, without using the word because we don't want to get struck here by YouTube, let's just say Gert was actually a member of a certain party when he was younger. His younger days, yeah. Let's just drop that in.
Yeah, everybody parties in their younger
Germans
days.
were on Hogan's Heroes. The bad ones were in Bond movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies? We've got skulls on our uniforms.
I think we might be the baddies.
Those pants, yes, they're called +4s. Cosmetic +4s. And they are ridiculous. They're like pantaloons. And there's the Nazi gold. I don't think Gert would have liked that reminder. I said the word. I meant to say naughty gold. YouTube. Yes. Naughty gold. I'll try and dub that later.
Yeah, you could not see it.
Yeah. Harold Sakata, who plays Oddjob, took this role really, really seriously, apparently, because it was one of the few roles he got. But this is where is this where Bond tries to like play mind games with Goldfinger?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's where he becomes an everyman. It's like an average trick.
Yeah, known as.
I'm just going to screw with his brain.
Oh yes.
And yes, Cosmetti, you are right. Pants are an evil. Oh, I'm sorry, Philip. Evil conspiracy.
Yes, they are. Pantaloons. So, yeah, the other film where both Gert Fröber and Sean Connery appear is The Longest Day, which we've covered on this channel before. Fantastic movie, that.
Gert was also in Secret Agent, was it X or Zero? Or My Brother, Secret Agent or whatever, with Neil Connery. The James Bond ripoff.
When was that? Oh, yeah. He tried to. See, because we're talking about, again, there's a lot of like dodgy licensing stuff around the whole Bond, because it was such a.
It was the Italian ripoff, because that's all they did. And and it was great because they're like, well, we can't cast Sean Connery. They're like, hey, he's got a brother named Neil. Let's get him.
Exactly.
And I don't even think he was an actor. I don't know what he was doing, but they're like, well, we'll get him. We'll dub his voice, whatever. And then they hired like every Bond baddie at that point to be in the movie.
Wow.
So they had like a huge marquee.
Yeah. Well, there is some weird stuff about the world premiere for this movie was September 17th, 1964, the Odeon, Leicester Square. Sean didn't actually turn up because he was filming The Hill. I know if you've seen The Hill, it's a fantastic movie, 1965. It's like it's a bit anti-war, but it's more about the British Army and about, you know, how you handle people who can't handle military training and stuff like that. It's a really good movie. So he didn't turn up at all for the premiere. But Honor Blackman was there for the premiere, and but Sean Connery apparently turned up for the Paris premiere, and he drove an Aston Martin DB5 down the Champs-Elysees. You can't really beat that, can you? What have you done? You're like, well, I drove a DB5 down the Champs-Elysees in 1965 for the Paris premiere, you know. But apparently there was also 60 women gilded in gold for the movie premiere as well. But at the Paris premiere, but some woman mobbed Connery, got into the car, and after that incident, Connery just said, "No, I'm not doing any more premieres ever again." And he didn't do one again until You Only Live Twice, 67. So for about 3 years, he was traumatized by that.
Wow. Full Beatlemania.
It was like cult status in an instant. It's just a young lad from Glasgow, you know. So we're at the the golf course. We're going to go at the residence later on, but we're at the golf course here, where Bond has put a locator beacon. This is 1960 sat nav. You're seeing there?
Yes.
Are you seeing the Rolls Royce there, getting lifted into the plane?
Yes.
Now the number plate AU1 is actually the chemical symbol for gold. AU. I'll show you what I did there. I give you a bit of trivia.
All science facts. Now, I bet Oddjob would have a fun time with TSA in that hat now.
Hey, well.
Is that a jet with the sound of propellers?
No, it was
or
propellers.
A propeller-driven plane. Okay.
Yeah, but a very unusual one since it has the upper deck. Very 747 look.
Guy Hamilton directed this. But there you see the green screen. Oh, God, there is.
Okay, yeah.
There is the DB5. Oh.
Now I would sing along with the theme song, but you'd get a copyright strike. So
is that a Rolls Royce Silver Ghost that they're driving? I don't know, but
no, he said the name of it when they
Yeah. Oh, and here we have.
But that car is another $1 million car because of this
There's
movie.
a Dodge. Sorry, no. Is it the Ford? It's a Ford Mustang, isn't it?
Yeah, Ford Mustang.
Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like the first and second year.
Oh, and here is Tanya Mallet, another incredible looking lady driving a sports car. This is like, this is the archetypal Bond movie. It really is.
Her steering wheel's on the wrong side.
Yes. Yes.
Damn yank.
Well, also, yeah, that's it. Like
foreign job.
Yes.
Bloody foreign cars.
These foreigners don't know how to drive.
So if this came out in '64, then
that car is the size of the Titanic.
Yes. If this one came out in '64, that would have to. I guess Ford lent them the movie for shooting, like before the official release of the Mustang.
I'll tell you what happened.
What 64 and a half was the first year.
Yeah.
Well, it was her Mustang was supposedly the first appearance by a Mustang in any movie.
Has to be.
Because it was introduced in April '64. And the movie was released in December. Ford gave them the cars, including the CIA agents, Thunderbird, and all of the Goldfinger's Goons cars, and the Lincoln Continental that was crushed. Now, they gave them a brand new Lincoln Continental and to be crushed because they didn't care. They just, we want to get our product in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So that was it.
That's where this movie pioneered too. This is really the first. I mean, in the first scene where you see his watch close up, is product placement beginning in movies.
Yeah.
And if you look at ads from around the time this movie came out, they were all Bond centered.
Yeah. Well, all the toys came out as well, didn't they? All the toys for the cars and everything. It's probably one of the most highly successful movie franchises ever, really.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the film that I think which set it all up. This is the one that set it all up. This is the first for the Aston Martin. It's the first for the archetypal. Because Dr. No was good, but I mean Goldfinger's like everybody thinks of that. This tire destroying claw here was inspired by Ben-Hur.
Oh, yeah. I remember that chariot.
That sounds very Corkesh.
Time for a top off.
Yes. A double blowout. Apparently her name was changed from Master Son to Master Son. Because the thing is about Bond, all the characters are based upon real life people. Because I remember in an old job I had, I spoke to somebody called Scaramanga, and I thought, hang on, that's the same. And she was living somewhere in Cornwall, I can't remember. But and she said, yeah, well, my dad went to school with the right of God. Why is that escaping me? Mental, yeah. And went to school with them, and they're like quite good friends. So the guy used them to base his character on, So he was just always thieving names from somewhere, from real life. So every time you see a name in a James Bond movie, those names are real names, have come from somewhere, but he changes them slightly every time.
And that's actually a logical writing tool, because then you get away from names like Bob Bobbington, or my lead character is Tom and he has this companion Jerry.
Exactly. So Ian Fleming basically went to the school with this guy, used his name, and but it often led to problems like Goldfinger. So Masterton was a Sir John Masterson, a leading Oxford University academic, and he was actually in MI5. He was an MI5 agent. So he's sort of blown the lid for some people. But we're talking about Mr. Solo before.
Yes.
Now, I think we mentioned before the chat that was actually inspiration for the character of Han Solo. The story is that George saw this movie and was inspired with the name of Solo.
And the man from U.N.C.L.E.
Indeed, exactly.
Napoleon Solo. They actually had to get permission from Fleming to use that name for the man from U.N.C.L.E.
Wow.
Hey.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, you see, when I was filming, we weren't real sure about Solo. His original name was going to be Franz Party of One, but just didn't flow.
Because when he says, that's a heck of a way to pick up a chick. Yeah, just slice her car into bits and hope she doesn't die horribly in a crash.
Yeah, I could see some problems with that, but
Yeah.
He's a double knot agent. It's okay.
Yeah. So now he's arrived at a secret location in the Alps here, and it's a lot of Chinese people walking around here.
That's very Swedish.
So the Chinese are involved in this somehow. Not that ever happens. They've all got the same costume on. This is typical of Bond. They all of them, the baddies have the same costumes on. And so they're this is you might recognize the actor coming up here, who's also famous for the Pink Panther movies. Burt Kwok.
Oh,
remember Burt Kwok?
yeah.
Who played Kato.
Yes.
Kato. Inspector Calista.
It's for you, boss.
Yeah. Yeah, Burt Kwok was came to Britain very early in his life and appeared in loads of movies, but he's whenever they needed somebody Chinese, they would always ask Burt. So he's always guaranteed work. So this coming up here is the lady he's already encountered, Masterson, who's trying to assassinate Tilly Masterson, who's trying to assassinate Goldfinger. Because when he says Pink Panther, I was obsessed with those when I was a kid. Oh, yeah, they're brilliant movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Tripwire. I want him dead. He killed my sister. So this is the sister of Jill who was murdered with the gold paint, but not in real life.
Of course not. They left a small patch open on the small of her back, which allowed her allowed her body to breathe. Leave the gun behind. You left the rifle.
That's a perfectly good rifle. How dare you?
Wonder if it's still there. We could go get it.
Yeah, I'm sure they picked it up. It's England. It's all filmed in England. You can't leave unattended rifles, sir. It's dangerous.
Oi, mate.
Have you got a license for that abandoned rifle?
I bet there's ammo in it too. Oi, you got a license for that abandoned ammo for that abandoned rifle?
And now this is Yeah, this is the scene where Bond uses all of his. This is a bit like Keystone Cops in a way. It's not the best.
Check it out. This is known as Taco Tuesday.
You really need to have like something in
Yes.
He also makes the worst mistake coming up soon.
Yeah. There we go.
But I guess it's kind of mercy because he doesn't want to kill an old woman.
So this is the first time we're seeing all the gadgets, aren't we? Like the smoke and the oil and everything. Yep. Oh, there we go. Over you go.
Oil.
There we go. Just there we go. But that's fine. That'll buff out.
Man,
yeah,
okay. Now, I do have to say, I'm glad I didn't live in the 60s where cars immediately blew up once leaving the road.
Do you remember there was a movie called Journey to the Center of the Earth where a dinosaur falls off the side of a cliff and it blows up in flames like a car? It's like whoever directed the special effects for that was obviously more used to, like, car chases.
I saw it on Chips.
Oh, Chips had the best car crashes.
Oh, yeah.
Chips was like, if you had a blowout in your tire, your car would eventually blow up.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, come on, we got to get you away from your car. It's going to blow. It's like, what? No, I've just got a flat.
Yeah.
This is AAA, sir. Get away.
But sure enough, if you didn't get away from the car.
Yep.
So now that's the only person that Oddjob kills in the whole movie with his hat. He does kill other people, man. But so both the sisters have died now. That's tragic. There's a lot of the body count for this movie, I think, is 61. I think.
Tell me, do you have another sister?
We are running out of sisters. It's like the sister version of Saving Private Ryan, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
We're running out of sisters here.
Is your mom hot?
Is any more blonde sisters? 62 is the body count. Take her away in the middle of the night.
You're not the man, Oddjob. You're not the man.
Yes. The soundtrack by Barry, John Barry, the music's brilliant.
Yes.
Yes, Cosmetti, another woman down. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Shocking.
I wonder if they stuck her in a fridge afterwards to complete the whole woman in the fridge thing.
Yes.
And he didn't even do a quip when she died, so I don't know. It wasn't like, she was
not even
a bad driver anyway.
No, he was shook. He was very to
well,
the
he
core.
Didn't get to have his way with her. So.
Swiss Varley Thomas, who was in our 60s, Swiss gatekeeper.
That's what 60s looked like back then. That's like today's 90.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bond would still seduce her. Raise the gate.
Yes.
Hello.
Look at
playing with it. She's playing with it. Eject the seat.
You can gauge my keep
I'm playing with my gear stick. Oh, ejector. Bang, you're away. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm going to run you over, you buggers. Oh, she's fully automatic.
Oh, the granny saw turn the other way and go back towards trouble.
Now, if this is real life and a secret agent was getting shot out there, you'd probably run her over, wouldn't he? It's like, fair game. You're shooting at me with a fully automatic.
If he didn't lust over it so much, he could have just killed her.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, she's after you with a burp gun, James. Get her.
Yeah, exactly. There's the famous cardboard boxes that are placed in small alleyways.
Yes, very important.
You have to have empty boxes to drive through.
Little bit of quick frame.
Yeah. I'm shortly be at 50 minutes. At 49 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, we're getting very Scooby-Doo with all these cars going back and forth here.
No. What a shame. That's terrible. I did like the machine guns coming out of the headlights.
Yeah.
And here he comes again.
Kill the granny with those.
Here he comes again, Harold Sakata.
This is great. Oh. The good guy getting fooled by like a trick is great.
You see, I mean, he's tried 3 times to get away here. He's just not having a good time. He keeps getting caught. Now, we're at the famous laser scene now, gentlemen.
Oh,
the famous,
man.
oh no, that laser's getting very close to my meat and tube edge.
I can smell sausage. Turn it off.
Laser. Yes. I smell burnt bollocks.
Didn't tell me this was a brisk, Goldfinger.
So here's another first appearance of a laser. This is the first ever appearance of a laser beam in a movie, right?
Yeah.
The first ever a laser appeared, right?
Using the word laser.
Laser.
It wasn't even on a shark.
The scene originally, the plant have a spinning buzzsaw, but that's so old-fashioned. So they decided to put a laser in. Now, I think it was they had advisors from MIT, so who came in and said, this is how you design it, and this is what it looks like. So they actually had
neon rings on them.
Yeah, they had actual professional advisors from MIT come in and help them. That's an actual laser beam. You see, it's not special effects. I think at that angle it is.
I will tell you, this scene makes me a bit uncomfortable.
It does. It's intended to. Anyway, sorry, I said MIT. I was wrong. It was advised. Ken Adam was the special effects guy, advised by 2 Harvard scientists who helped design the water reactor in Dr. No. So there you go.
Nice. So yeah, that's another thing is even though they go crazy with the physics, they push the boundaries, but the use of the practical things, that.
Yeah. Did you hear the line there as well? Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Great answer.
Okay, you keep an eye on the bollocks, Sludge. I'm just going to get another beer. Back in a second. 2 minutes. You hold the fort, gents.
Yeah, see.
Oh, Bond. No one has ever seen a 008.
And after that, Double D34.
Grand Slam. What do you know about Denny's, Mr. Bond? It's a reasonable breakfast for $2.99. Grand Slam. Let me live, Goldfinger. Let me live.
I want strawberry pancakes.
It's all I've ever wanted. My mother force-fed me haggis. All I wanted was pancakes, Rudy Tooty, fresh and fruity.
And no sausage right now. I'm not in the mood. Quick wits saved his bits.
Oh.
Oh. No. Goldfinger looks so satisfied with himself right there.
I must be dreaming. They put a different hairpiece on me while I was sleeping.
Okay, I've held myself until this point. I have to bring up the ample use of Aquanet in 1964.
Oh yeah.
His hairpiece alone could deflect bullets.
Here she is, Pussy Galore.
Pussy?
First time I see Pussy. Now this is in honor of her. Now that line, I must be dreaming. The original script had Bond replying, "I know you are." but what's your name? I'm Pussy Galore. I know you are, but what's your name? That was too suggestive, and it was changed or bleeped out in some markets.
You know, we here in the States are a bit prudish.
So something twice as dirty.
Yes,
yeah, exactly. Exactly. There we go.
Oh, he said headache, right? I thought he said hammock there for a second.
Yeah.
A whole new view of Goldfinger.
Yeah. It's just. There we go. That's the first time he says that, I think, as well. Shaker, not star.
I feel like there's a gold theme here.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to be one.
Slightly.
I should have worked on my gold member impersonation.
No.
Gold
That's your keeper. Smoking a pancake.
I guess Goldschlager didn't exist back then. It seems like that would have been like the drink of the movie.
Possibly.
That drink has gotten me in so much trouble.
Do you know that the executives were actually worried? The United Artists were worried and were thinking about changing the name to Kitty Galore. And the producer says, look, because we're saying like you might get a 10-year-old kid in the thing. And I said, look, if there's a 10-year-old kid in the cinema who knows what that might mean in other contexts, then, you know, that's their fault. Basically, we're not going to change it.
Well, this is when a 10-year-old kid is just waiting for another gunfight.
Yes, exactly.
They're not paying attention to any of this.
Exactly.
Yeah, girls had cooties at that point.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this was also her lesbian reference too.
Yeah.
The one left in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, the conjecture.
You have no effect on me or whatever.
Yeah. The are you what are you at now, Elrod? What time scale? Oh, you just passed that time. Yeah, the reference where your charms don't work on me. Yeah.
I'm at 5703.
Yeah, I'm about the same. Yeah. Yeah, the conjecture is that, and but then, you know, she's been badly trapped by people, and she generally just stays away from everybody. But apparently 007's charms eventually work on her, as we see later on.
Well, it's 007 conversion therapy.
Exactly.
I think that
Mike Pence wants that secret formula.
Yeah. Now, she was in a show called Avengers, not the Marvel Avengers, but Avengers in Britain, and very successful show. And Broccoli wanted her for this movie so badly that they actually wrote in her ability to perform judo into the script. Because that was something she already knew how to do from being a TV star in this other show.
Yeah, she had to do her own stunts on Avengers because there were no stunt women.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. Absolutely, in the novel, she is gay and gives Bond the cold shoulder because of that. So what we're seeing on the screen right now is the locator in the shoe. And of course, he knows he's being watched. This is the only movie where James Bond shaves, by the way. A completely useless fact.
I was gonna say he never gets a 5 o'clock shadow into movies, does he?
Do you know? Have you ever seen the movie Catch Me If You Can?
I have not.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about, but I have not.
Because in that movie, he's got so much money, he buys the exact suit and an Aston Martin because he wants to be like James Bond. Oh, yes.
Ooh.
A little chat.
Oh, were you about to say a little Chekhov's gun?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, a little bit of Chekhov's gun there.
Oh. You like cloud shapes, don't you? There's the White House in the background there.
don't know, but I'm always shocked when Felix shows up in the movie because he's always a different actor.
Yeah.
And none of them look anything alike.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't bother with any sort of consistency for Felix, do they?
Except for the last one with Dalton. They got the original Felix Slater to come back.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Oh, really?
David Hedison, yeah.
Yeah. Pussy Gallore's Flying Circus. I'm going to shatter your dreams again now, gentlemen. Some of Pussy Gallore's all-women flying circus were played by men wearing blonde wigs.
What?
Yeah, sorry to tell you.
Not when they get out of the plane.
Are we allowed to say that these days? Or are they actual real ladies?
You know, as long as they identify.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure at the time they identified as men.
Well, identified. Well, you know, it's a gray area since they're identifying as it for the movie. I don't know. I'll have to break out my secret decoder ring.
We'll have to roll a d6 to decide. Oh, by the way, the first appearance of the Q Branch Workshop was this movie as well. Earlier when we saw all the gadgets.
Oh, dear Buddy Holly.
There's the flying shark.
Oh, I can't sing, otherwise, you know, another copyright strike. There we go.
Yep.
All right, since you brought that up, I have an acquaintance that a friend. His father actually played with. I played with 80 or 70s and 80s country music people, and he was a guitar player for Waylon Jennings.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know at the time, but that coin flip with Buddy Holly and Richie Valens, Waylon Jennings was supposed to get the seat.
Yeah, he was one of the people in the bus.
And that was something that my friend talked about, was that it's still this was a few years before his death that my friend and I were talking about. He said, yeah, that still bothered Waylon Jennings to that day. Just the guilt.
Well, we know that
Richie was only 17.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
Suggestive trumpet music.
Suggestive.
And like a flaming sun on the left breast.
Well, that and the most incredibly uncomfortable looking brassieres in the history of mankind.
These are like the things you can put somene's eye out with.
Starfleet regulation brassieres.
Hold on, boys. We've reached the stud ranch.
Yes. I have to say goodbye to Sadie. Sadie had to leave the chat there.
Good night, Sadie.
Because what he says, that Asian crew member is a lady boy. Oh, I don't know about that. Is he? Oh dear. Go away and rethink my life now.
Yeah, if you got to wonder, err on the side of caution.
So is this the Kentucky ranch? Is it? But she's actually filmed in Britain.
Yes, supposed to be in Kentucky.
Which is just like a short drive away from landing in Baltimore.
Right.
Yeah, it's knowing, being from the States and knowing the Kentucky area, I'm just trying to imagine what some of the good old boys were thinking about, if this was reality, what this crew hanging out was like.
Especially back then.
Oh man, hey Earl, come here and check this guy out.
Like I went to Fort Knox when I was a kid, and it was like, even then, that was like very small town.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't, I'm sure in the 60s it was only the military base.
You know what you were saying before, Elrod, about products? There's loads of product placement. You've got Silverbird, Martin. They're in
Kentucky because that's a KFC for sure.
Rolex watches, Dom Perignon.
Thunderbird.
But you know what you were saying, Ralph, as well about what the local guys think. Well, if you look carefully, when they go in this sedan, the black sedan, to get some Kentucky Fried Chicken before they reach the Royal Castle hamburger, on the corner there's an old-fashioned trash truck, and there's a bunch of people standing beside the trash truck, watching the scene. They're actually filming the film. They're actually like amateur, like what the version of a blogger was back then, you know. And they're taking photographs and film of the movie being produced. Okay, I'm a gangster, and I've got sunglasses.
That's Solo right there. He's one of these guys, Napoleon Solo.
Yep. Yeah, Martin Benson, the guy who just talked there, Solo. This is okay, I'm out. That's fine, you can leave, but I'm going to kill you.
Stereotypical Italian mobster, and you owe me money.
Hey, that's Solo there. And here we go. This is the ambitious plan revealed.
Yeah, the creators of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. love the name so much. They're like, that's such a cool name. We've got to name our hero that.
There we go.
Yeah, great name.
And we could possibly believe George liked it as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
George did steal most of what he did. So.
No.
Well,
he had that planned since before movies were invented. It's the power of myth.
I emerged from my mother's womb, and I had this vision.
Although I'm kind of glad he did Star Wars, because he was trying to do Flash Gordon, and Nick Nolte was going to be Flash, and I was like, good God. That's
oh, man.
Bing, bing, Flash, what do we do?
Oh, man.
We have to save the Earth.
Horrible garble.
Nick Nolte. Oh, man.
There's even like old interviews of Mark Hamill saying that, which I'm sure George Lucas hates. But of course they got on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because they're like, how do you feel about being in this new movie, Star Wars? He's like, well, you know, I'm thankful, because if it wasn't for me, I'd be played by Nick Nolte. Because this is supposed to be a Flash Gordon movie. And it's like, you know, after Lucas invented everything, he was like, no, we don't talk about that anymore. That never happened. After he retconned his own history. Mark, you're fired.
I'll have to share with you guys the I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but they do deep fakes, and they've got a guy that does an excellent George Lucas.
When I invented Arthurian legend.
When I decided that a parsec was a unit of time instead of distance.
Actually, science is wrong.
Science, something parsec. I don't know, Han. Just say it, Harrison.
This is a scene where Sean disappears completely. And this reminds me of, I think, did this inspire the way Alien hid in certain ways? You know, the Alien movies? Because you're not expecting them to be where they actually are. And that'll become plain in a minute when he goes in the room. I don't know how he manages to achieve this, Sean.
I'm personally impressed that the guard is worried because he ducked down behind the door. I better check. He's been squatting an awful long time.
And there he is, hiding in the roof space. Bye. And if the gun goes off, everybody will know. It's the old bang the hand against something trick. There's the knockout kick. What gun is that? Is that a Luger or?
It looks like a Luger, maybe a Walther.
Yeah.
Hooga!
Was the Walther always in the movies, or was that a later addition?
I think that came in later as well. I'm not sure.
I know it came in late in the books because the CIA was writing letters to Fleming saying like, "Oh yeah, we don't use that. We started because Bond used a 22, which makes sense because it's small,
right?"
But the CIA is like, no, we moved to this Walther thing. It's much better and more accurate.
Yeah, and that is a Walther.
In the book. Yeah.
So there's Michael Collins acting the part 4. Michael Collins is doing a great job at the dialogue here.
Why is there an eyeball in your model? Giant face.
There's a huge eyeball looking out of Fort Knox. That's the Illuminati.
Giant eyebrows on that building.
That's the Illuminati. You don't know about that yet. We're going to steal from the Illuminati.
Does anyone else smell Old Spice and Aquanet?
So there's the nerve gas. So you've got a German holding a canister of nerve gas. It's a bit awkward.
Wearing his jack boots.
Well, yeah. And keep in mind, keep in mind, is on set, he's screaming this in German.
Yeah.
Yes.
And pretty much everybody in that room is a veteran of World War II.
Yeah. Awkward.
Payday, think payday, think payday, think
payday. Only 20
payday.
years later.
Yeah, I'm getting paid. The check's in the mail. Checks in the mail.
Do you think after every scene he's like, just like my youth? In the boys club. Just like the boys club.
He has the call.
Excuse me, I have to go put on a brown shirt and stare in the mirror. So wonderful.
So the plan is to irradiate. So let's have a look here. So they're talking about I don't think any of them join in, do they? They all back out, or is it just Solo? Funny how he's called Solo, because he goes solo, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of on the money there.
It's pretty much obvious he's going to walk away. Please excuse me while I take care of him.
It's the old-fashioned way.
And so Bond's idea is this guy's leaving, so he's going to put the locator thing in his pocket, with the note of what the plan is, so that the FBI will find it, or not the FBI, the CIA, will find it, and the plan will be obvious. Oh, here she is.
Oh,
here's the lady of the hour. Pushy.
Oh,
Pushy.
My God, that sweater, Pushy.
Oh, yes. I like your suede jacket.
Oh, suede.
Yes. She actually, she was probably one of the most sought after actresses at the time when the movie was made.
Yeah, because the Avengers was just huge at that point.
Huge, wasn't it? So they Krubby Broccoli just wanted to cash in on that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a very shrewd man, businessman. He made good decisions. Here we go. Hey, what's going on here? Hey, what's going on? I'm a stereotypical gangster from New York.
Hey, wait, that's that nerve gas. Oh, crap.
Oh, I just crapped my pants. Oh,
you dirty rat.
oops.
You dirty cuff.
I'm gonna get you, copper.
Yeah. Now, interesting choice that they didn't choose to use some visual. They went with the completely clear gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lincoln Continental, the Kennedy Death Car.
And then you're thinking, well, this guy's getting away. That's all right. He'll be fine. At least he got away. Yes. Miss Galore. Living in Cheshire, Mr. Shaw.
I'm a hostage. Help me. Help me. I'm a hostage. I was in prison.
Yeah, I've got to get away. Got to pay Jabba some. Got to get this cargo to Jabba the Hutt.
Got a bounty on my head.
Yeah.
Both my eyebrows, too.
Yeah. So was it time, perhaps? Famous quotes from this movie. Goldfinger, this is gold, Mr. Bond. All my life I've been in love with its color, its brilliance, its divine heaviness. So this is real footage, actually in America. There's the
Just
CIA
living at the KFC.
eating as usual. Colonel Sanders' recipe, fried chicken.
Oh God, I can taste the slavery.
Oh yeah, starting down my throat.
That's what the secret spice is.
Sweat.
That's it. My secret recipe that I stole off a lady.
11 lashes, herbs and spices.
Joe's Drive-In, Sunoco.
Yep. So circa 1964. And this is where they go to the crusher scene.
Hey, you're going the wrong way. Don't make me use some old-fashioned racism on you. Yeah, what part of China are you from?
Hey, what's with
They not drive cars there? They don't have maps.
that height?
Ooh, that's not the airport.
Wah, wah. Oh man.
Now, I came along a bit later than 64, but I can definitely tell you, this reminds me of the America of my youth, as far as how everything looked. So,
well, I can tell you, there's an error when they're following Odd Job. There's some palm trees turn up. I don't think there's any palm trees in Kentucky.
No,
They're right by the
palm
KFC.
trees. That's the 14th Urban Spice.
Yeah, I think this was also filmed in Florida.
Yeah, the Colonel cut down all the palm to make chicken.
He tried early experiments with palm oil.
There's some in the background. Yeah,
That's
good eye.
Lincoln, and there
Lincoln
it goes.
Continental.
That's it.
Right? Mark IV.
Yeah.
God, it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, beautiful car.
JFK death car.
It was the film crew watched this, and apparently they were like just, slack-jawed. It's like, oh.
Yeah, because back then that was like a Bentley being crushed. That was like the car.
But Ford didn't give a damn. It was like, this is an advert for Ford.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the leather upholstery's not doing well there, is it, gentlemen?
No, but aren't they missing a body or something?
Yeah, there's no. I remember when I was a kid watching this, thinking, "Where's all the blood dripping out?"
That's right.
8 or 9 pints of blood dripping everywhere. Not that I want to see the blood, but
Yeah, car crushers.
Just one drop, just little.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell
Or
such
one
a huge
eyebrow
story.
falls out.
Yeah,
One cube of metal with an eyebrow on it.
or a finger poking out somewhere.
Okay.
Oh my God, Solo! You know that eyebrow anyway.
Solo's frozen carbon. No, he's not. He's just completely screwed.
Yeah, and from within the metal husk, you hear,
I told you to take the way to the airport.
Do you think George was inspired by this scene as well? And he thought, shall I crush Solo or shall I just freeze him in carbonite?
"We'll get this guy, and we'll crush him inside of a thing, and have a bounty hunter haul him off in a space pickup truck."
Yeah, but he's not a Chinese gentleman with a hat. He's a different person altogether. And I'm original.
Just like the Colonel.
Yeah.
So amazing that one teeny tiny thing got squished and broken. So now the CIA guys are completely lost.
Yeah, because apparently CIA guys are completely dumb, apparently.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all part of the making Bond look better. It's the police are always depicted as idiots and all of these kind of things, aren't they?
Oh yeah, well yeah, and you know, MI6 was the premiere. We were just there to help when it was in the States.
Didn't they try to do like an American version of Bond? And it had what was that awful film they did? It was
There were many.
Yeah, I'm thinking of one particular.
It was Matt Helm that was basically making fun of it. That was the only one that had money in it, I think.
Yeah, it was who sang That's Amore?
Yeah, Dean Martin, Matt Helm.
That was it, Matt Helm, yeah.
But they were sort of making fun of the whole thing. They weren't really.
It was tongue in cheek, but it even though it's tongue in cheek, it's awful. But you know. Oh look.
And there was the one with James Coburn. What was that one?
Flint. Yeah. That was
Our man Flint.
Yeah.
And those were straight up parodies.
Yeah.
Now everybody's just hanging out in a cell.
Felix Leiter.
I need to step away for 1 second, gentlemen. Be right back.
So I'm at 1 hour 22 and 30 seconds.
Nope. Where'd he go?
Oh, hang on. Did he just say Grand Slam? Did he? Operation Grand Slam was actually the code name for the Soviet overflight mission, wasn't it? It was the U-2, Gary Powers.
Oh, that's right. Was it named after the movie?
When did that happen? No, that was 1960. I think this movie was made after that happened. So maybe it's just a reference to it. But yeah, that was when the U-2 was down by the...
I mean, may have been named after the books because they were all reading them.
So you think the mission was named after the books? Yeah, because the books were written.
I wouldn't be surprised. JFK is pretty much the reason Bond became huge because he mentioned in an interview that he read James Bond.
Yeah, that's really
that's what gave it like public, you know. Before then, it was just they printed them in Playboy magazine and like it's in like serial form.
That's right. Yeah, they were like serialized, weren't they?
And then Kennedy was in an interview. They're like, "Oh, what's your favorite author?" He's like, "Oh, right now I love Ian Fleming."
Yeah.
James Bond, and they're like, "What's this?" And like the next year there was the movie.
Yeah, so Cubby grabbed that idea and said, "Right, let's do it."
Yeah.
Are they mint juleps they're drinking there, or?
Yes. Because they're in the South.
They're in Kentucky, stroke Sussex. Where is Pinewood Studios? Hang on. I don't know. It's in one of the home counties.
I was gonna say it's in the countryside, right?
Yeah. It's near Slough. Have you ever seen The Office with Ricky Gervais? Well, it's near Slough, which was the location. Okay, the best locations. It's in Buckinghamshire. There you go. I can't believe how good Michael Collins was at dubbing this guy's mouth.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he was speaking broken English and they just, dubbed over with something people could understand.
Yeah.
But I think his accent was probably too harsh and they were just like, yeah, we'll fix that.
Yeah, surely. Because, we Americans just are not going to sit and read subtitles.
No,
it's not going to happen.
Especially when it's subtitles for guys speaking in English.
Yes, exactly.
When your English is so bad, they put subtitles on you. You're like, oh, dear God.
Can we just, for a moment,
like appreciate... the wild white from West Virginia.
Can we just appreciate the 1960s push-up bra just for a moment, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
And just appreciate its glory. Yes, what a remarkable woman Honor Blackman was.
Absolutely.
God rest her soul.
That and to go back just a little bit, I'm very impressed by the. I'm not sure which pickup that was, El Camino or El Diablo or whatever that one
Ranchero.
was. Ranchero, thank you. So that had some impressive shocks to hold a compressed 4,000-pound car in the bed of the truck and drive it around.
Yeah. Good point. So we're going to see the judo abilities of pushing a law.
Careful rolling the hay.
Here we go. Oh, yes. A lot more than you.
Oh, give me the binoculars. I got to watch this.
And then grabs her.
Oopsie.
Isn't it customary to grab the condemned man his last request? You've asked for this. Bang. So, Pussy was the original empowered lady, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I mean, that's why they cast her, right? I mean, because that was Kathy Gale on the Avengers.
Oh, he's got the better of her.
She was the muscle of the Avengers.
She was the hero. You see, I mean,
the
idea that a powerful...
And Emma Peel was the same way. She came along. And she did all the action.
Now you're talking. I mean, I'm struck between the two. Diana Rigg.
And then Tara King, the third one that gets no love because her stuff is never in reruns.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the idea that, empowered women, this is all new. No, it's been going on for 60 years. You know what I mean? So here...
Thank you, Kusmeti. I'm wearing a special for you. You mean her outfit.
Can I just say as
Convert!
And we can test this theory. Apparently purple is and Pushy was wearing a purple costume. Apparently purple is the most attractive color to males, apparently, in studies. I don't know whether that's true, but I do like purple.
Well, yeah, we'll have to give this a scientific test.
Mm-hmm. And blue is the most attractive color to females, apparently. If you wear blue. Not that I've ever tested any of this. Fond of uses of information. So can we look out for the gentlemen with blonde wigs in this instance?
Yeah, it'll be hard to tell since they're in covered, but yes, I will definitely keep an eye out.
Now, the flying circus gassing the soldiers, the pilots were told to fly about 3,000 feet high. The director said that was hopeless. It wouldn't work at all. I mean, how the hell that's going to work for the movie? So they flew at 500 feet. Apparently, the military were a bit pissed off with that.
I can imagine.
Now, does that look like Fort Knox? That's pretty good representation of Fort Knox, isn't it?
It's bigger, actually. I mean, this one is bigger than the real one.
Yeah, the fake one.
The actual house where the gold is like a really tiny, square block house. It's not impressive at all.
Yeah.
And it has no windows, I don't think.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a representation.
This looks like a real place, though.
It is. It's actually a real place that they converted. It's a recreation of Fort Knox at Pinewood Studios. It was incredibly accurate, considering nobody in the movie had ever been allowed inside the real location. Because you know how it's all gated off for like a half a mile to a mile from the actual building. So apparently it looked so real that a 24-hour guard was placed on the set so that thieves wouldn't steal any gold bars, because it looked so much like the actual thing. They were worried that people were going to go, hang on, is that a vault?
All right. So to my callback, sorry, Pete, I didn't mean to step on you.
That's all right.
My callback to this is now it makes sense why the gas wasn't shown, because to widespread crop dust, to use a better term, the entire base, it wouldn't make sense to have the gas be visible.
Exactly. It would also be a really cheesy effect where they would overlay the smoke over the whole screen.
Yes.
It would look very cheap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Invisible gas is a lot creepier anyways.
It is.
Yes, yes.
So this scene depicting the tracking you've seen from the Dixie Highway, the main thoroughfare to Fort Knox and Louisville.
The all Chinese Air Force.
Yeah. Was done at the this is all as authentic as they could make it.
Oh yeah. Now Pete, I have to warn you, in the States, in Kentucky, that is referred to as Louisville. Otherwise they will tear you limb from limb.
Beg your pardon. I'm showing my mother country ignorance there.
Yeah, no, not at all. We can't help it that we pronounce it wrong.
Well, I suppose in the French you don't pronounce the S, do you?
No, and right. several things in that area are named for the original, or were named, I guess, by the original French. So you will see a lot of villes and things like that in that section of the country.
Was it the Louisiana Purchase where all the land changed hands?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. That was further west. But you're looking at Kentucky, Tennessee. It was probably early French territory. We might have taken in the French Indian War. Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally speaking,
American English is more heavily influenced by French. Like we say garage.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, garage, aluminum.
We say Van Gogh, not Van Kakaka. Van Gogh, or whatever you people say.
Van Gogh.
Just Van Gogh, come on. Van Gogh. Van Gogh.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, I know that the English, basically, most of the United States, they just took from other people, like the Dutch and the French. You know, we'll have that, thanks.
Well, that's too settled.
Following in the great English tradition, the American nation did the same thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Napoleon. We just like to give out blankets. Come on, it's our thing.
What was ours called?
Cold there, little native boy. Have a blanket.
Oh, Manifest Destiny. That was ours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we're not absolved of blame. We had an empire, so I mean, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The peace-loving pygmies of the Upper Volta. So here's the laser. Right. This is just so Doctor Who. This bit here. So I'm probably going ahead of myself a little bit, but Harold Sakata, who plays Oddjob, later in the movie when he's reaching for his hat when he's filming his death scene, he severely burned his hand when he was going for the hat, but he was determined to do it right. So he held onto the hat until the director yelled cut. So the guy was so committed to doing his job properly that he ended up severely burning his hand.
You know, You got to give the guy. He's given it his all, hoping that this will morph into a long and successful career.
Yeah, of being baddies.
Bless him. So Goldfinger wears yellow or golden items of clothing all the way through the movie. In the one scene that he appears not to when he's a U.S. Army colonel, he carries a golden revolver. Thus, in the chronology, he is the original first man with the golden gun. Exactly.
Very nice.
Well, there you go.
So what are they going to do? Irradiate the whole place so no one can touch the gold?
Yeah, they're going to irradiate the gold so that they have control of the gold market. Because the idea is that Fort Knox has all the gold in America stored at, which we know is complete crap. But
don't tell
anybody. It's so blatantly obvious.
Fort Knox has the lizard people spaceships.
Yes.
And so basically, look at that lovely vault door. Now, the vault here is a real vault. Yes, they're going to radiate the gold so they have control over gold. Because he's been stockpiling his own gold. That's the only gold they can trade.
Right.
So the vault there that you're seeing, actual vault, and it's located in the headquarters of the Midland Bank in London.
Oh, interesting.
It's a real bank vault.
Wow.
It's not a set, it's a real vault. Oh, all the men are still alive. Hooray! Didn't see that coming.
I wonder if this movie inspired Nixon to take us off the gold standard.
I thought you were going to say if it inspired Nixon to take us into the Vietnam War.
It might have done that.
Yes, it might. Gold members people were all Asian, so, and I used gold member intentionally. Gold member.
I should keep her. Now, obviously, this is fake gold that we're looking at there. Who has the biggest gold reserve in the world?
I'm not sure at the moment.
I'm interested to find out, considering what's going on at the present time as well.
Now, I know that I'm probably giving away state secrets here. But I know the U.S.
It's the United States.
Is it us?
Massively more. Yeah, it's got like just over 8,000 tons of gold.
See, I know that ours is fairly diversified. We have it in multiple states across the country now. Mm-hmm. There is Fort Knox is still a large gold depository, but we don't keep it all there.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine Fort Knox, because of things like this movie, it's where we don't keep it.
Yes, I would agree.
And the expression "more gold than Fort Knox," it's just like a known thing.
Yeah. Now, interesting.
Again, I spent my whole life thinking there was no Fort Knox because of the expression.
Oh, yeah.
Like it never seemed real till we actually were driving through Kentucky and we're like, "Hey, let's go to Fort Knox."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? It's real?"
Now, not to power level. I do want to point out that the set design, I think, is very logical, because as you pointed out, Elrod, the top building is very small, but everything is underground, and that's a very U.S. way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is where,
and I don't want to power level, but I grew up near a place that has enough stuff that's underground that has fake crap on top of it. Mm-hmm. That I completely buy into this.
Well, that's how the FEMA headquarters in Virginia was until just a couple years ago, when they were like, "Oh yeah, that's where the headquarters is," and now it has buildings you can see from the road.
Right. Yeah.
But it was called like Mount Weather, and it was just like Mount Weather is a top secret military thing.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And back in the 60s, sorry, the screaming. My dad was hunting out there.
Yeah.
And he like runs into this big chain link fence with barbed wire. And he's like, I'm in the middle. I'm on the top of a mountain. What's going on? And these guys with M16s just come out of the woods and like, you have to leave, sir.
Yes.
What?
And he was like, what? I'm just hunting for deer, man. And they're like, you need to leave. Click, click.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm going.
Yeah, it
And he
doesn't
got
matter.
escorted off in a Jeep. And he's like, this is weird because it's a mountain in the middle of, at that time, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, with us, in my youth, it was, I grew up in a rural area, but guys would go out hunting, come across the fence, and it was you didn't usually see an armed guard, but I guarantee you they saw you.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, don't go across there because you will be dead.
Mm.
Well, there was a place not far from here I didn't know until a couple years ago because my ex's father was like a high-ranking colonel.
Mm.
And he just out of the blue, because it was unclassified at this point, was like, oh, yeah, that road behind that McDonald's, yeah, there's a military base back there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a little like industrial park.
Great.
It was like, wow. And it was like, but the road, it was like a through road from the main road through this industrial park, and it was always closed off. You're like, why is that road closed off? It'd be like a shortcut to get anywhere. And it was weird because sometimes the gate would be open, sometimes it would be closed. And then all of a sudden that gate disappeared. And he was like, oh, yeah, it disappeared because we don't use that base anymore. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, it's unclassified now. There was a base back there.
Yeah, a lot of things changed after 1989. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fall of the Soviet Union. So seeing the first sort of battle against an indomitable bad guy here, the odd job is impervious to gold bars thrown at his chest and any form of attack. So this electricity cable that we saw dislodged by the hat just before, I think Bond's just about to think about what he can do with this electricity cable, but he's going to try using the boomerang hat, the discus thing, which would never work. I mean, it's a ridiculous weapon, this hat. It really is.
But
it's the most ridiculous weapon ever.
But it looks cool.
It does. And here he goes. They're frying tonight.
Oh,
it's like the fight almost worked, except for the fact that Connery's like a foot taller than the guy.
Does he say anything? It's no quip there. Can we think of a quip?
He already said Sean.
I like a nice stir fry.
Yeah, I've got nothing. Sorry.
Now this scene with the countdown, because obviously this is the thermonuclear device, and this countdown was originally going to end at 3, okay, but Cubby thought it'd be a good idea if it ended on a different number, and we know that because Bond says 3 clicks left, but the number that's left on it was done deliberately just to give the audience a buzz.
Oh yeah,
you know what number it's going to end on, don't you?
Yes.
Count that.
You got to get a pop from the audience.
Yeah, you always want to. Not that happens in today's films. It's all about subverting your expectations, which is another way of saying sticking it up your ass.
Yes, exactly.
Hey,
now
I've got money to see a movie, and we'll stick it up your ass.
I've got to give it to it's the little things in here, like the actor that was caught behind the door. Those doors weigh tons, and they're perfectly balanced. So that door swinging on you, the mass absolutely would crush you.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. So he has this incredibly complicated mechanism, but because he's Bond, he's the best. He's the best of the 00 agents.
I've got one.
He knows what to do.
Oh, Studebaker. Oh, this is complicated.
I'm over in Parch.
And I'm colorblind. Crap.
Watch my toupee telling me to do.
Aquanet, shave me now.
They should have just used that as part of the plot.
Yeah. Thank
like
God
Doc Savage had a wig where he kept like his gadgets.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
So there's Robert McLeod, atomic specialist, who comes in just at the right moment because Bond was just about to just randomly rip some wires out.
Oh, he blew a fuse. Nice.
I must have appealed to our maternal instincts.
I love the CIA guys. I'm sorry. They've got our naivety down pat. And oh, hey, James.
What's up, buddy?
Now?
Hey,
Jimmy.
Want to play
G. Willikers? That was a close one, right?
Hey, want some buttermilk later? This guy, this colonel here, is just smiling away. Is he going to say anything?
Oh, another Lincoln Continental. Nice.
Is he a major?
You ever had KFC? It's amazing.
Absolutely. See you later, James.
Tastes like imperialism.
It tastes like awkward questions. So he's back on the plane again.
Was that a little Pan Am logo on the top of that antenna?
Oh, no. Tell. There's the man with the golden gun. He's there. I remember what happens to him now. Do you remember what happens to him?
I do.
Oh, Chekhov's gun. Yes.
Yes. Literally.
2 hours, I'll be in Cuba.
Oh, strudel.
And I already have a voice double waiting for me there who can speak Spanish. Yeah, I'll just point the gun away from you for a second. That works. He was a tall guy, you know. He was like 6'1" or something. So he's almost the same height as Sean. Oh, yeah. Get fucked out the herd! Oh, I'm plaguing the oh, gone by. Insane.
Achen Sie Strudel.
Nazi window.
Pussy struggling there to control herself, control the plane.
Ugh, mein Twiggen batteries.
Oh. Like Willie's at oh.
Oh man.
Yeah, I sorry folks. I hate to tell you, gravity doesn't work like that in a descending plane.
Hear the line there? Where's Goldfinger playing his golden harp?
Have you tried pulling back on the stick?
Gosh.
I thought you were a good pilot, woman driver.
At least she's not parking.
And this is probably Kew Gardens. Look at it now. Oh no, it's not Kew Gardens. This is somewhere else that Sean couldn't be asked to get filmed in.
Small miniature there.
Oh,
there you go. Yes, this is definitely Kew Gardens in London because of the amount of azaleas and rhododendrons. This is no time to be rescued, pushy. There you go. I think that was the first time John Barry composed that particular. Well, we've got the Goldfinger theme, but we've got a lot of different things in here, which are. Because Dr. No didn't really have much music in it compared to this movie. The song there, the finishing song there by who was it who sang the song? It was the diva herself.
Oh, Shirley Bassey.
Shirley Bassey, yeah. Apparently, she was singing from an auto cue, and the last part of the song wouldn't go away from the screen, so she just had to keep maintaining the last note forever. And she says that she had to open her bustier to breathe in order to keep the note going.
Oh wow!
So there we go. That was Goldfinger, ladies and gentlemen.
That is a lot of fun. That's the thing. Bond movies are always fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And to kind of go back to my, it takes me back to my youth. I remember, traditional American family. We would sit down, one of the broadcast networks would put the movie on, and we would, it was a family event. The whole family would sit down. We would watch the movie, my mom, my dad, we were all together, and it was fun. It was an event, and that's the thing. That's what this takes me back to.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it ticks all the boxes. It's classic entertainment, and it's obviously been lampooned so many times now, but you can still enjoy it even though it's been lampooned.
Absolutely.
And I think somebody like Honor Blackman, who was already an established figure, she puts in a great performance, and it remains today, I think, probably one of the top three. People want to mention like a Bond movie, they're going to mention Goldfinger.
Yes. Yeah. Completely agree. Definitely.
Most famous Bond girl, most famous Bond car, probably the most famous Bond lines.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, the imagery of the actress in gold paint.
Yeah.
That creates a visual that has stuck across the generations. Fantastic. And of course, and like I believe you guys brought up already, this sets the bar, because as you go through the different things, you have the gadgets that come in, and I forget the movie, but I specifically remember, as the movies went along, they would try to one up each other for stunts. And I specifically remember one of the Roger Moore Bond movies where I think it's Live and Let Die. I may be wrong, where Roger Moore takes his car, he drives it up, the bridge is out, he drives it up, and it's like been blown up in a corkscrew. So the car jumps, does a 180 in the air, lands on the other side, and he gets away. And they did that. If I remember right, that was an actual jump that they did and landed and had in the movie. Just incredible stuff.
It also had the alligator running across thing that was an actual stunt without.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, and and Cosmetti brings up a great point. She says this. She thinks this is her favorite Bond girl. A strong character. She stood on her own, and she went toe to toe with Bond, and there
really weren't any others that did that.
Yeah, and you don't, and that's the beauty of characters like that, where you don't have to drag everybody down to make that character look good. You elevate that character up, and as Pete brought up in the fight with Oddjob, Bond's outmatched physically. He cannot compete with Oddjob, so he outsmarts him. Go ahead.
I think the reason this does stand out is because Bond continually gets caught. Bond is continually outsmarted. Bond is making wrong decisions, or he's trying to do things and not succeeding. He's outmatched. He's also equaled by other characters like Honor Blackman's character. And even right at the end, when he tries to disarm the bomb, it's the other guy who comes in and disarms the bomb, not Bond.
Yes.
So this is showing a guy who's doing the best at what he's excellent at what he does.
Subverting your expectations.
Yeah.
Well,
but in the right way, exactly.
It's showing him as real, rather than as a Mary Sue.
Yes. Failure. You learn and you grow as a character and as a human from failure.
Exactly.
Well, a superhero isn't relatable. Like even Superman has to have an Achilles heel, or you can't relate.
Yes, and
that's what Clark Kent is. Clark Kent is his weakness.
Yeah. Well, and even coming to that was one of the reasons why I could never relate to Superman, and Superman was one of my least favorite characters because even though everything he stood for was good, he was just so powerful. You know, I couldn't relate to him because if somebody pulls a gun on me, I'm afraid. You know, I'm in fear for my life. Superman is like, whatever. Hey, put that thing away.
Yeah.
Don't
now
make
that's Batman. That's what they've turned Batman into. Batman is the ultimate Mary Sue.
Oh yeah. If he doesn't have a gadget,
he can do no wrong.
Yeah, if he doesn't have a gadget for it, he's already thought 14 steps ahead, and he knew you were going to do that. So,
and there's no way, if he was the world's greatest detective, he would never wear a mask.
Yeah,
he would just be smart enough to solve crimes without fighting them.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, even somebody like Sherlock Holmes had weaknesses. Had a lot of weaknesses. He was an addict. He was a depressive. He was an addict. He was felt he was a failure. He was paranoid.
he had dementia in his old days too, right? His beekeeping days. He was just living as a recluse.
And and he had several people who, well, obviously Moriarty, the most famous one, but he had several people who equaled him intellectually.
Yeah.
So the idea of exactly. So yeah, I think this movie really stands out as a Bond movie because there's things that when you analyze it, it comes across as more real, and it sets up the Bond universe. And in later Bond movies, these things were repeated and became a bit hackneyed. But in this movie, it's all original. It's all for the first time. These things are happening. So this is where it's fresh. This is when it's happening for the first time. And
yes,
I think for that matter, it's a great movie. I mean, the movie was the fastest growing at that time. At this point, when it was released in 1964, it was the fastest grossing movie in the entire movie history when it was released. It went in the Guinness Book of Records. When it came out, it was a huge blockbuster. So,
and I think I read the budget was $3 million.
Yeah. So that was bigger than Thunderball and not Thunderball.
What is that in today's money?
Yeah, it was bigger than the first two movies combined. Thunderball was supposed to be the next movie after this, but there was legal battles about it. So I think it wasn't Thunderball. Actually, it wasn't Thunderball the next movie after this. I think it was, wasn't it?
I don't recall. I'd have to go back and look.
There's something to do with the order. I'd have to check, but the legal.
What is it? It's Dr. No, From Russia with Love.
That's it.
Goldfinger. Thunderball would be next.
Yeah. So there's references in this movie to Thunderball because I think the production of Thunderball was postponed because of legal issues. So I think those things again are in the background, but this movie I think is a better movie than a lot of people think. Thunderball's that believe, and for rightly so, they've got their own reasons. I think Thunderball's the best movie, and for a variety of different reasons. Personally, for Sean Connery, I would say, because I do really like You Only Live Twice, but this is probably equal place with You Only Live Twice. Those two movies for me, for Sean Connery Bond, is the best, are the best, really. I like them for different.
Very good.
So, I like them for different reasons. But yeah, Dr. No and From Russia with Love were the first two, and the combined budget of those two, I think Goldfinger was a bigger budget than those two combined, and Thunderball came out after this. But I think in the books, I might be wrong, but I think Thunderball is the story before Goldfinger in the books. But I'm not sure. I'd have to check that out. So anyway, on that note, thank you to everybody who turned up in the chat tonight, and thank you to everybody who will watch this recorded later. And of course, thank you to my two co-hosts tonight, both Ralph and also Elrodimus Flash.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure. We've had a great time together.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. It's awesome.
And we're going to do this again sometime. And what a great movie to cover,
So
fantastic. So with that, we'll say good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.